Hello, my name is Bayo, and I'm in Italy with friends and communities here, exploring exquisite possibilities. I've had a great time with the people here, and we're having rich conversations, some of which I want to share with you now. I've had the beautiful privilege of hosting a course festival of some sort, which often defies description or definition, for about 8 years now. We started in 2015, this project called We Will Dance with Mountains, exploring post activism, exploring the idea that the ways we respond to crisis are often the crisis, and that there are other sideways intelligences that might show up when frontal modalities fail to address patterns that keep on repeating themselves. And last year we had about 1,500 people join us for 3 months in the sixth iteration of the course. Now, during the course, it started to become clear to me that something else wanted to be born, and that we had reached a critical limit of the conference format, the pedagogical linearity of offering instruction or or basing a session around pedagogy, and some kind of energetic load was simmering beneath the surface. Other kinds of bodily intelligences needing to be activated that the video conferencing architecture could not quite hold space for. And this is saying a lot because We Will Dance with Mountains has been quite an unusual attempt at recreating the digital space. Now, without dismissing the digital or the virtual, it seemed like something other, something experimental, some yearning needed expression. And this was not just me, it was felt throughout the cohort. And so I shared with my people that it seemed we had come to the critical end of the conferencing format, and maybe it was time to start exploring a really hybridized approach, a carnival attempt, or an attempt at framing carnivals as sites of inquiry where we can cook together and think together and depart from the stability of subjectivity and subjecthood that is somewhat preserved when you speak through a box. That dream has blossomed post-course, and a teeming community of people are now thinking with us about the quite ambitious attempt to create carnivals around the world next year in 2025, to invite new places of experimentation that's more than just a party, but is an experimental, animist, post-humanist, emancipatory, decolonial rehearsal of our lives as more than human, as not just reducible to identity, as spilling beyond the confines of the self, as para-ontological, as a form of becoming black. And so this dream is taking off. in a beautiful way. Just yesterday, I had several conversations with what is now becoming an organizing community for hosting such a carnival here in Italy. But more on that later. The basics of this dream is that we want to hold simultaneously, to some degree, carnivals around the world that are planetary nodes of inquiry, learning and unlearning together, and that do not resolve themselves as places of cognitive capture, that other kinds of intelligences come forth. This carnival or series of carnivals is what we call Vunja. And so I'm here as part of you enlisted in this vocation to invite a communal sensing that this needs more than me, more than our team. It needs many of us. Probably needs you to step in, to think with us, and to create with us. It's a huge undertaking. The gesture is not for size. The gesture is, how do we organize? The question is, how do we organize in a time of deep failure, when white modernity and the modalities of modern civilization, the rituals that have stabilized us, white stability, how do we organize when it's hollowing out, when the practices that have kept us stabilized are no longer taking root or holding place or holding us in place? And so this is my invitation to you to join us in a co-sensing communal dispersal project in which we seek and learn together and think together on how to create something planet-wide and also intimate enough for us to be close to ancestry and close to futurities and different kinds of differences. Beginning from this month, February, Dancing with Mountains will be hosting a monthly gathering of people who have gone through the course these past 6 years and others who are interested and curious enough to think along with us, who feel called to sit with us and think about this vocation that is deeply animist in its quality. How do we convene new sites of inquiry at the edges of the otherwise? How do we tap into the ontofugitivity of other places of power? How do we break out in lines of flight from the convergence of the status quo? This is the question. These are the questions that are at the heart of this invitation. February 25th, we will be having the first of the series of monthly gatherings. Details would be provided along with this video invitation. And we will start to think together as we share together and create together from the ground up, so to speak, how we can do this together. If you feel invited, if you feel called to do this, if you have found any sense of beauty in the projects that we have held space for, if you feel called to think alongside us, then please join us and share this invitation as widely as you can to those who feel that they might help resource us with their dreams, with their insights, with their instigations, because we don't know. And we don't know together. But it is this unknowing together that is the very edge of experimentation. The politics of the end times is always experimentation. Thank you very much for listening, and to those who have followed my work and danced with us for all these years, thank you. I do not take lightly that you read our texts and you listen to our voices. Come play with us some more. Take care.